the calls for Governor Andrew Cuomo to step down have reached a fever pitch. Republicans and Democrats both want him out as well. We'll have a full report for you from Logan Ratick coming up.
Sean, good morning. When it comes to Governor Andrew Cuomo, it's clear that not only the Democrat leadership wants him to go, but Democrat voters do as well. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo didn't even show up for work Wednesday, choosing to hunker down at home, developing a strategy for his bid to survive politically. State and national politicians, including New York's entire Democratic delegation in Congress, are calling on Cuomo to resign, and more than half of the New York State Assembly wants to impeach him. And the majority of New York voters want Cuomo to go, according to a new Marist poll that shows 50% of New York Democrats want Cuomo to step down, with even more Republicans feeling he should. GOP nominee for New York City Mayor Curtis Sliwa held a protest outside of Cuomo's office, demanding he resign immediately.
We have seen him use his bully pulpit, his very prominent bully pulpit, to attack others who have been accused of sexual harassment at the same gradation that he has been accused. All of a sudden, he says, no, don't give in to the cancel culture.
And there's more trouble for Cuomo. Top prosecutors in Manhattan, Nassau, and Westchester counties are requesting investigative materials collected from the state attorney general's report. Republican Congressman Lee Zeldin, running for governor of New York, says it shouldn't have to come down to the counties.
It's quite unfortunate that this is left in the hands of local law enforcement, but some of these prosecutors, it seems like they may step up. Hopefully they do.
Now, it's clear Governor Cuomo will have trouble finding support pretty much anywhere, but even if the impeachment process doesn't move forward in the Assembly, he will still face legal challenges, including from his first accuser, Lindsey Boylan, who plans on suing him. Sean, Emma, back to you.
Logan Ratick from the Capitol. Logan, thank you. For more on the embattled governor, we'll bring our panelists in for this hour. Today we have Jack Kingston, former Georgia congressman, joining us live. There he is, as well as Brandon Tatum, former police officer. He's also the author of this book, Beaten Black and Blue. Thank you both for joining us. We do appreciate it. There's a lot to get to here. First of all, your thoughts here. Jack Kingston, I'll go to you on this. The governor, there's calls for him to resign. There's calls for impeachment proceedings. Where do you see this going? As of today, we know that he did not show up for work.
He's gone. The only thing that's not on his deviancy resume is a trip to Jeffrey Epstein's fantasy island. When you have the New York Speaker of the House, who's been a strong ally of his all these years, saying we have no more confidence, and you've got people like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, and really any self-respecting politician is going to come out against him, he's got to go. You cannot lead with such distraction and such a loss of confidence and support among those you have to work with.
Brandon Tatum, your thoughts on the matter?
Well, I think it's quite clear, he's got himself in a world of trouble. Not only is the sexual accusations something he has to battle, but what he did at the nursing home as well. But I want him to be held accountable the same way that they've tried to hold other people accountable in the Me Too movement. You talk about Brett Kavanaugh that had nowhere near the amount of evidence that we see in Cuomo's case. I want him to be held accountable. All of this "We Believe Women" and all of the stuff that the left has been saying for the last several years, I want him to be held accountable for this, because there's no room for men at all to be in office and sexually assaulting or doing inappropriate things to women. There's no place for that. We need strong men in this country, and Cuomo is not an example of that.
Let's get Jen Kerns' take. She's going to join us. She's host of All American Radio with Jennifer Kerns, also a Newsmax columnist and contributor. Jen, a lot of talks here, the calls for resignation. We now have, I think, almost 80 assemblymen in New York that want impeachment proceedings to begin. You have a criminal probe in 2 counties now in New York. You have the governor not showing up for work today, Jen Kerns. Does he resign? Does he get impeached? What is the future for Governor Cuomo?
Well, unfortunately, I think the New York governor has an ego the size of Texas, so I don't think we'll see him resigning anytime soon. And he knows, Sean, that there is no recall provision in the state of New York like there is in the state of California. So he knows he can sit back and coast for several more months before an impeachment proceeding could actually happen in the state of New York. And that is why I like states like California who have that recall provision so that the people can take back the power. Here's what's most interesting. The last poll on this among his supporters, and this may be why Cuomo feels like Superman, like the Man of Steel, 65% of female Democratic voters in New York City back in the spring said that they knew he had sexually harassed women, but they thought he should keep his job anyway. That is from the Me Too party, and the Believe All Women party doesn't look like they really do believe all women.
Well, you know who thinks he should go? New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio. Take a look at this, and we'll get your reaction.
11 women systematically wronged. 11 women affronted by a powerful guy who could crush their career and their reputation. And he's the kind of guy that everyone assumes would if you crossed him. And he harassed them. He assaulted them in several cases. It's not even close. And then he has the audacity to say, oh, you know, I like to hug people. I mean, that's just out of touch with reality, but it's also profoundly disrespectful. How about saying, I did something wrong? I have to atone for my sins.
To make it known, there is no love between the governor and the mayor of New York City. Having said that, there are political figures that would survive controversy. Bill Kingston, or Jack Kingston, I'll go to your thoughts on that and what you thought of Mayor Bill de Blasio there in his statement.
Sean, you know, these are, as Brandon outlined, very serious charges. This is somebody in a position of superiority who was really hitting on lower level employees. It's outrageous behavior. Having said that, though, I got to say it's kind of enjoyable in a perverted way for us to see Blasio and Cuomo go at each other. Sorry it's on this subject, but you know, it's interesting to see the two attack each other. But he has lost the support of those he has to work with, and I just don't know how he can survive. Even in New York, I agree with Jen. It's weird that here's women who claim to believe with him. And these are the same people who said get rid of Kavanaugh, and now they're going to, you know, they don't agree with women enough to get rid of Cuomo. Right. That's weird, but I just don't see how he survives, even in New York.
Well, it's not just de Blasio, right? You have top Democrat officials calling for his resignation. We got a whole screen of them here that we can show you right there, including the President of the United States, Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer. The list goes on and on. AOC, a lot of names you recognize getting behind it, the calls for the governor to resign. We've asked that question, should the governor resign, Brandon? We know where everyone stands on this panel, but I want to switch gears here to media coverage. Media coverage. CNN's Chris Cuomo, obviously his brother. He hasn't covered this story the night before or the night before. 2 nights now hasn't covered this top story. He still continues to go on to do his show. My question is, even if he went in to do his show and covered it, he would be biased because A, it's his brother, and B, Chris Cuomo's mentioned in the report. So you could get him to step aside, which CNN allegedly gave him the opportunity to do, according to the New York Times. He is not doing that. How do you continue to deliver news but ignore the top story? Brandon Tatum.
Well, CNN and Cuomo and all of those people, I don't want to use derogatory terms, but those individuals in that network, they haven't been doing news for a very long time. I thought it was interesting that he had his brother on the network, you know, touting him around as a hero during COVID, never said anything about him doing the negative deeds that he did in the nursing home. And now all of a sudden he's absolved of covering this story regarding his brother. You know, these people are so fake and disingenuous, it makes me sick to my stomach. Cuomo is just as bad as all the rest of them. You see Democrats coming out and saying we want him to resign. They're just towing the line. They're saying what they think they're supposed to say. They don't care nothing about women. They don't care nothing about integrity, because if they really cared about justice, Hillary Clinton would be in prison. She had a server in her house sending and receiving classified information, and I'm never going to forget that. And that is the justice that we still haven't gotten to this day, and I don't think they're going to do the same for Cuomo.
All right, it's going to be a matter of time. Jen Kerns, I've got about 20 seconds for you.
Well, look, it wasn't just Chris Cuomo doing his brother's bidding. We now know that a Facebook senior executive who used to be on the governor's press staff in Cuomo's office was helping smear the women who were accusing Governor Cuomo of this. Look, Sheryl Sandberg, if you're listening, lean into this one. Take care of this one.
All right, Jack Kingston, Jen Kerns, Brandon Tatum.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, where real news for real people.